What's going on? It's me, Dean Smith, aka Heavy Hooks, aka Rodney Smith. Back at you with some more stuff. Black History Month is February 2023, and the person who started Black History Month is Carter G. Woodson, the second person to get a PhD from Harvard. First person being W.E.B. Du Bois. And he started it out as Negro History Week. And the reason he did this is because he recognized that our history is not a part of the regular history curriculum in schools. And he knew that our black students were not getting this history. So in this video, you're going to see my kids giving a Black history fact and explaining why they think this fact is beneficial for Black people to know. For me, this history is important. Well, the fact that I gave you at the beginning is that Carter G. Woodson created Black History Month. It started off as Black History Week because he realized that all Black kids should know their history because history is a weapon. This is important to know because a lot of people suggest that Black people have Black History Month in the month of February because it's the shortest month, that white people gave us Black History Month and decided that we should get the shortest month because Black history is not that important. Now you know that's not true. A Black man who realized the power of history created Black History Week, which turns into Black History Month. And the reason he picked February because two of his favorite people have birthdays in February, and that's Frederick Douglass and Abraham Lincoln. All right, and this is important to know so that you understand Black people do care about education and history, and created a month so that our youth understand what has happened in the past and how powerful and great we were in the past, so that we realize that we're going to be great and powerful in the future and today.
Frederick Douglass was an abolitionist and inspired other black people to fight for their freedom.
And I want to say something else about Frederick Douglass that's very important that we should know during Black history. Frederick Douglass, he used the food that he had to pay his friends to teach him how to read and write. Why is this important? Because it shows the importance of education and how many people will not let obstacles stand in their way. That is how a lot of people are, especially Black people. When they want something, they don't let things stand in their way. And they understand how important education is. That's why they will go to extremes to get education. Now, a lot of people today make the false claim that Black people do not care about education. Well, it is a fact that Blacks as a whole are one of the poorest people. But they tend to spend a lot of money on education, on financial literacy, going to college, whatever it is. That proves that they care about education because they're willing to put up more of their money percentage-wise to go towards education than other groups, so they clearly care about it. If they didn't, then you wouldn't see them making such an investment in educational things. Another thing about Frederick Douglass that's very important is that he became one of the presidents of the Freedmen Banks. Now, Abraham Lincoln signed the Freedmen Bank into existence, I think in 1865, once the enslaved Black people were freed, so that they can have a chance to have their own banks to build financially, so they can build themselves up financially and get some wealth. Well, these banks were not run well. They did not have the same oversight as other banks. And when they were about to fail, they said, hey, you're respected Frederick Douglass. Why don't you go ahead and be the president of the bank? So he becomes the president of the bank because Black people respected him because he was an honorable man. But he quickly realized that this bank was failing because they didn't do anything to help this bank survive. All right? Because banks need investments. And if the bank is for Black people, they're not going to have large investments. So they're going to need help from other banks. That's how banks work. They help each other out. But since we live in a racist country, people didn't want to help out the Freedmen Bank or the Black bank. So Frederick Douglass was like, yo, I married a corpse. I married something that is dead, something that is not alive to help us. So why am I even here? So he advised the country to shut down the bank. The reason that's important is because if you don't know your history, you'll think that black people fail because of their own shortcomings and bad decision making. That's untrue. If you don't know the history, then you'll believe this. But if you know that blacks structurally have been given dead corpses or have been given defunct things or things that don't work, then how can they expect to excel when other people are given living things that are working? That is not the situation for us. But if you don't know your history, you'll think everything that black people touch fails because of their ineptness, their dumbness, their stupidity, their incompetency, their laziness. All of that is fake. Black people, we are great people, and you got to know your history so you can understand how great you are, so that you understand you could be even greater in the future.
Harlem Road Rebels was the first African American elected to the U.S. Senate, and also this will encourage black people to run for office.
William Washington Brown was the first former black slave to own and start his own banking and financial institution. This really encouraged slaves and other African Americans and just black people in general that they can start any small business that they want and do anything that they put their mind to.